Hey there folks, Belgrade beat on the streets of, you guessed it, Belgrade, Serbia. Now the scenery is a little bit different today because I am in the suburbs. I am in the burbs. And this is because I'm visiting some people out here today. So I thought I would make a little video about where to live in Belgrade. Because you can probably guess that I live very close to the old city center, aka in the center. As far as most people are concerned, it's the center. So basically there are other options in life. So I wanted to weigh the pros and cons, suburbs versus the center of Belgrade. So this is the scenery of the suburbs. Typical Belgrade. Every suburb is by law, okay, maybe not by law, required to have these things: menjačnica, pekara, apoteka I kladalnica. So every suburb is by law required to have a money exchange office. It's required to have a bakery. It's required to have a betting salon, and it's required to have a pharmacy. Not exactly, not true, but it's not law, but these are the things you'll find everywhere in Belgrade, and most of them will have like a 24-hour place where you can buy snacks and cigarettes and beer, it's all, living in the suburbs in Belgrade isn't incredibly inconvenient. They're actually made pretty much for, good pedestrian access. You can see right now I'm walking through, these buildings, nice sort of urban space here, which is, maybe it's not strictly called a suburb. I consider this pretty suburban for Belgrade, but there's nice sort of urban spaces where people can, sit and hang out between the apartment blocks here. And it can be a nice sort of relaxing thing. So one of the pros for living in the suburbs, cost. Peacefulness, sorry, cost is next. Peacefulness. It's very peaceful to live in a place like this. It's quieter than living in the center. There's more of a sense of community somehow amongst the people who live in the suburb. More familiar faces. It's more likely that the person at the corner shop is going to want to know your name and everything like that. And being a foreigner will be more exotic. Let's see, what else? Cost. The major reason people live in the suburbs is cost, because it is definitely cheaper to rent an apartment in the suburbs of Belgrade than it is outside. It's also probably easier to find. Coming here as a foreigner for the first time, you'll meet people on websites like Couchsurfing or any sort of social network channel, and they will most likely, as most Serbian people in Belgrade do, live in the suburbs. And through connections in the suburbs, you can find a place really easily, and you check which bus it is to the center. It has right here, number 26 goes directly to the center, main square. So that's one of the pluses. It's easier to find a place. When I lived in Belgrade and Canada for 3 months at a time, I often ended up in the suburbs of Belgrade, because that's where the people that I knew were offering me a place to stay for 1, 2, 3 months. So yeah, you have like a nice sort of connection. They can find you a place to stay, in their neighborhood, whatever. It'll be cheap, very flexible. So that's another plus of the suburbs: cost and flexibility. The downside of living in the suburbs, well, as you can see, it's not the most inspiring scenery. It's you've got everything you need, but you might not have it in style. I mean, of course, there's the suburbs like Zemun, which is arguably a city of itself, or Dedinje, which are very picturesque, and some other parts can be really nice, but most of it just utilitarian, sort of what you see is what you get sort of stuff here. Big drawback for the suburban life is it takes ages to get anywhere on the bus. It takes a long time to get around. It takes to get from one suburb to, say you're going from Bežania to Vidikovac, you might as well just like go to Novi Sad, because it's probably going to take less time than getting from Bežania to Vidikovac, for example. Novi Sad will be faster because of the highway and such like that. What did I want to say? Yeah, nobody's going to want to come to your place in the suburbs unless they, are used to going to the suburbs. The drawback is, and you won't have a lot of nice things around. You won't have a lot of, cafes that are artistic and inspired. It's all sort of like lowest common denominator suburban culture. So, sports bar type things, that tacky sort of place that's trying to look like fancy cafe but doesn't really pull it off, doesn't really have taste sort of thing. Serbian food will be all you will find. Maybe an Italian pizza restaurant once in a while somewhere, but if you like Serbian food, yeah. If you want a genuine Serbian experience, live in the suburbs of Belgrade, or even better, a small town in Serbia, or a smaller city. That's more genuine Serbia. Go live in Jagodina. I don't know. Like, niche. I don't know. I'm a city cat. I like to be able to walk in the glorious parts of Dorcol Vracar, and I can only imagine living in those places at this point in my life. So I've lived in, like Bežania, Banovo Brdo. I've lived in Zemun. I've lived in a couple other places, and I really feel that the center is, better for me as a person. My habits, my lifestyle, getting around, feels like the world is at my feet. Right now I'm living, the end of Dorcol, where it sort of meets, close to the, on the way out of Dorcol towards the Pančevo Bridge. I live there. And basically, I'm paying, 350 euros for a beautiful, awesome, nice one bedroom. I think out here, the similar place would probably be about 200 euros, and maybe even easier to find. So, living in the center, if you're, there, you have to pay more money, but it's still, half the price I was paying in like London to have a place to live. So, living in the center, it's obvious, it's awesome. You have world-class stuff, cafes, it's easy to have friends because everybody comes to the center all the time, and they just come to the center and meet you. You don't have to go far, they come to you. Grocery shops, great markets like Kalenic and Bajloni Piazza and Zeleni Venac Piazza. Just really easy, nice sort of thing, but it costs more money. So if you want to be a high roller, city slicker, live in the city center, but there's hidden costs living in the suburbs too. Night bus, for example, 150. That's the cheap way to get home. Taxi gonna cost you, I don't know, what do taxis cost to get out to a place like this? So about 5 kilometers to the center, I don't know, 7 euros? Do you want to pay 7 euros to get home? Every time you want to go out and have, a nice sort of evening out with your friends in the center? Do you want to stay up until 4, 5 in the morning when your first bus comes? Or do you want to go on the night buses, which will still involve maybe half an hour of walking? I don't know. It's all a question of lifestyle. So I've decided that, the lifestyle for me is the center of the city, but there's lots of really nice, peaceful places that you can find outside of the city. And if you want to drive, if you want to have a car, it's not that far to get to the center of Belgrade. It's still not this huge city. Traffic isn't that bad, although people complain that it is. I see traffic in Toronto and it's much worse than this. So, that's it, folks. Where do you want to live? And if you maybe don't have the budget for Belgrade city center right now, but you want to live in an urban environment, nice place to live, might I suggest you live in the city center of maybe Novi Sad or something for a little while you decide what you want to do, how you're going to do it. Get that, job, online job, whatever, that will pay for you to be in where you want to be. So anyways, thanks Belgrade Beat, suburbs of Belgrade. Nice, quiet, peaceful. Nice, quiet, peaceful. It's really amazing. My last thought would be, if you just want to chill out, get away from your old life, start anew in Serbia, have some space in your mind, relax surroundings, suburbs might be good for that. But for me, I'm on the up and up and up, making my life here happen, and therefore, I'm here. I live in the center. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.